listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Oh, man, we have so much to get into this week. The TLC setup is getting bigger and bigger, and Raw's ratings are getting smaller and smaller. Did SmackDown Live step up to the plate? Do we have a brand new best heel in the company? Is Bane signed to the WWE? All that and more this week as we...
Don't forget Dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready? No! I said, are you ready? You just made the list! Oh, I knew he was gonna do that. I just knew he was gonna do that. He don't need Janetti. Damn! You don't know what hard times are, Daddy. Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. If this some man with the rock in cooking. Bullet for life, good bout, and good night, bang. They ain't got the answers. I change the questions.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the most inappropriate pro wrestling show in the motherfucking world. You are listening to Breaking Down the Ring. We are your ring crew.
Big Ball Smitty.
Master of the Marty Kick, Orlando. Back in the house.
Just Z.
And me, the almighty one, Mikey himself. Ladies and gentlemen, and
You're more than just Z to me.
I'm the new Z. The old Z is dead.
oh, old Z and new Z. So there's a bunch to talk about this week in wrestling, but the number one thing that we want to talk about right off the bat is the passing of Dynamite Kid, Thomas Billington. He passed away today on his 60th birthday. He was
Oh, it
born,
was his birthday.
literally born 60 years ago today.
That's what I was reading. I think it was his 60th birthday when I brought it up.
Yeah, December 5th, 1958, and he passed away December 5th, 2018.
Do we do our own little 10-bell salute?
Yeah, we can. Got bells and
Go ahead,
shit.
Z. You like ringing a bell?
I like how the bells got faster at some point.
Halfway through the whole thing.
It was like,
Fuck this shit.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's like, this is taking so goddamn long. Fuck this. Oh, fuck it. Yeah, so man, Dynamite Kid, huge career. As a matter of fact, Orlando, you have praised Dynamite Kid more than anyone else on this show, I believe.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, to me, he's the innovator of the modern style. The crispness that you see in the ring, that all starts with him. If you watch matches from prior to Dynamite, there's very few guys that have like a snap to every movement and everything. That's all credited to him. He's an innovator in terms of how small he was. You know, most small guys back then were looked at as like enhancement talent. He's the first guy to come around and like, hey, look at the super juniors, look at the light heavyweights. And nowadays, now it doesn't even almost matter. Now guys like AJ Styles and all these people wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they realize that or not, and to me, he's always in the ring. He's probably he's probably changed the game in the ring as much as Flair or Michaels or any of those guys. I think he's one of the top 5 guys that's influenced the in-ring style of today. So he's made a huge difference in that regard. Also, I mean, he's just fucking terrific. His work is incredible. him and Tiger Mask, the matches still live up to this day. You can watch them right now, and they will be on par with anything you watch on 205 Live or anywhere else. He's just an incredible worker. Obviously, most people know him from the tag team, the Bulldogs, which is where he kind of got his main fame. But stuff in Japan and everywhere else is kind of the impact that he's had that's trickled through. A bigger legend than he's probably made out to be, for sure.
Smitty, anything about him from you?
He's bro. I remember the British Bulldogs as a kid, and just those two just being complete badasses. Outside of LOD and the Heart Foundation, those were the guys that I liked. And I really thought that he would have went further than Davey Boy Smith. I thought he had more charisma than Davey Boy.
Oh, he was 10 times better than Davey Boy. But if you read Pure Dynamite, which is his biography, it's incredible. First off, he's very dislikable as a human being.
So he's a dick.
Yeah, no, very dislikable. Kind of a bully. Fucked with the Rougeaus a lot and stuff. And kind of a bully. Not very likable. Doesn't like a lot of people in return. So he kind of sabotaged his own career. But it's sad. It's sad the way that he goes out because, I remember they did there's an independent documentary about him a couple years ago that came out that was crowdfunded. And these documentaries, people were trying to tell him what a big influence he is on the wrestling business, and he has no clue. He had no clue that he had influenced anybody.
Really?
Yeah, he has no because he doesn't, he's not open to the world or anything. He's really closed off, and I think he had lost his legs and stuff too at the end.
He was in a wheelchair.
Yeah. So it's really sad to see the way his life had turned out, and him not even knowing, what a positive impact he's had on people. But just a crazy individual outside the ring. But still, I think his legacy in the ring is what he's going to be most remembered for. It's just a crazy, one of those really interesting characters in wrestling. And pick up Pure Dynamite if you get the chance, because it talks about him taking horse steroids, and he tells all these crazy fucking stories. He's a fucking lunatic. Nah, he really is. And
A real lunatic.
It's one of my favorite wrestling books I've ever read. It's on par with anything that Jericho's written or Foley's written, just because it's just him telling honest stories, and you can appreciate the honesty, even if he is the most dislikable human being you might have ever read about.
Right. Z, what about you?
I remember watching them as a kid, both in the tag team and little singles match here and there. And I was always, as a kid, I would get lost in his matches because they were so good. Orlando, basically said it all, but he was so crisp in the ring. It was hard not to watch him and deny his talent. So, as a kid, he definitely grabbed my attention. He's definitely one of the reasons I started watching wrestling in the first place. So, yeah.
Talking about his accomplishments in All Japan Pro Wrestling, he was the All Asia Tag Team Champion with Johnny Smith one time. He was the NWA International Junior Heavyweight Champion once. In New Japan, he was the WWF Junior Heavyweight Champion in the Greatest Gaijin Junior section in 2002. Pro Wrestling Illustrated ranked him number 5 of 100 best tag teams, the PWI years, and Davey Boy Smith in 2003, as well as number 4 of the top 500 singles wrestlers in 2003. In Stampede Wrestling, Stampede British Commonwealth Mid-Heavyweight Champion 5 times. He was also the first ever of that champion.
That was too hard for most Stampede, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Stampede International Tag Team Champion 6 times. Sekagawa 1, Loch Ness Monster 1, Kasavuto 1, Duke Myers 1, Davey Boy Smith, British Bulldog twice. He was the Stampede North American Heavyweight Champion once, and the Stampede World Mid-Heavyweight Champion 4 times. He's also in Stampede Wrestling Hall of Fame. As far as World Wrestling Federation, he had the one-time tag run with Davey Boy. And for the Wrestling Observer newsletter in 1984, he was the best flying wrestler. He was tied with Masa Saito as the best technical wrestler in 84. Best wrestling maneuver was his power clean dropkick in 84. As mentioned, match of the year in 1982 with Tiger Mask on August 5th in Tokyo, Japan. He was the most underrated wrestler in 1983, and he was the tag team of the year in 85 with Davey Boy Smith. and he's in the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame, class of 1996, Canadian Wrestling Hall of Fame, class of 2001. Obviously, there's his legend in the business is extremely underrated.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that like I don't even like hearing about those accomplishments in the 80s. It's like the average viewer watching wrestling in the 80s wasn't as smart as they are today. So they probably like that's more of like an inside award for him. You know what I mean? Where like insiders appreciated it, but the outsiders watching were just like, "Oh, he's good," but you know, they don't realize how good and how much of an impact he's really had. Like I'm telling you, so every time you watch a suplex and you see somebody snap with something, that's Dynamite. Like that's his influence. Like that was not a thing. Go watch wrestling from the 60s. There was no snap to things. Guys were kind of unorthodox, and they moved. Today's modern movement, the way like we think John Cena sucked or whatever for years because he doesn't move the way that everyone moves, which is the way that Dynamite moved.
Yeah.
So everything's like traced back to him. He's had such a humongous influence that people don't even realize. But just in terms of personal matches, obviously him and Tiger Mask, the Bulldogs versus the Rougeaus, the Bulldogs versus the Hart Foundation, the Bulldogs versus the Killer Bees. All those matches are great. You can also watch the Wrestling Classic, him and Macho in the main event of this little tournament they did. It's a great match. It was a short little match, but it's great. All this stuff in Japan is worth checking out because he got to work a different style over there, which he liked, according to, to his book and stuff. Right. Again, it's a sad way that he goes out because he goes out kind of being remembered as a piece of shit outside the ring and kind of not knowing his own legacy. So it's sad the way that he goes out.
He died on his fucking birthday.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't value birthdays that much. So to me, as a grown man, I don't really care about that.
I don't know, man.
It's interesting.
I think I like interesting, and I think it's a good way to close more than it's being a sad situation because like if you're basically going out the exact time you came in. It's to me it's a situation like that.
You're going where you came, huh?
Not the way you came. That'd be horrible.
You're going
where
the day
your
you
mom
came.
told you where these come from.
The stork went and came and got him. The stork went and got him.
You
That
went,
goddamn
but
stork.
You went the day you came. You're gone the day you came. Pretty much. What I would say.
We just got a case of Marcus Mo.
The defender of love's back, Smitty's gay, yeah, and it's okay.
Tell him gay whenever Orlando's here now.
It's all the time. We just bring it up when Orlando's here.
Yeah, because I always got your back.
Yeah, he's your defender of your love. Duh.
But yeah, no, Dynamite, man, he was awesome. And again, like I said, even now, I don't see like a lot of fans posting a bunch of shit, but all my social media is just filled with insiders and guys in the business because we understand from a different perspective how important he was.
Are there any stories that you've seen on your social media that stuck out that you're like, holy shit, that's pretty sweet?
No, I mean, there's no individual stories about him because, like I said, he's been very reclusive and kind of secluded to himself. He doesn't go around at all and hasn't in 20-something years. Even in his book, he wrote, like, Brett was trying to get him to come back in, like, 91 to do, like, a singles run. And the Fed, once Brett was becoming, like, the guy, Dynamite was like, no, I don't want to. Yeah, he just, he's like, no, I don't want to.
I'm good. I don't need all
and
this.
just kind of, went and, like, drowned his sorrows and...
Alcohol and drugs.
Yeah, and so it's, it's like I said, it's really a shame that, like, he didn't understand his own importance.
We about to say something, Z? No. That's not possible today, I don't think. Like, anyone who's in the business now or since...
You would think that. But he's not on social media.
No, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about, like, the nowadays wrestlers. Anyone who hit a high in, let's say, even the Attitude Era, because that was, like, around the boom of the modern internet. That was when all these dirt sheets and everything started, when people... especially even more so now where these wrestlers are consistently pushing themselves and doing things on social media, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Ronda, the way the Young Bucks and the Revival have interacted this week. It's it's a situation to where it's probably really difficult to avoid your own legacy. But from the era he came in and the way he just wanted to live his life, regardless if people thought he was an asshole, he was a recluse. He was basically a wrestling hermit. He's like, I was out there, I'm done. I'm going to just sit back here and I don't need to worry about what anyone else thinks. And he probably thought that mainly because of how people perceived him and probably talked to him face to face.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, and like I said, he was definitely a little crazy. Anyways, I remember after the Chris Benoit tragedy, obviously Chris Benoit's biggest influence is Dynamite. And
Yeah.
if you go watch Dynamite, you'll be like, wow, Chris Benoit took everything from Dynamite. You know? But I remember after the Chris Benoit tragedy, they interviewed him on the news. And it was the first time like I had seen him. This is like where YouTube, where you couldn't just go find any interview you wanted.
So it's like 2005?
Yeah, well, this is like, YouTube was there, but it wasn't just filled with fucking shoot interviews about anything and whatever. But anyways, so they had him on the news, and he was talking about the Benoit tragedy, and they were talking about how he was this big influence to Benoit, and then his ex-wife had said that he had pulled a shotgun on her, and he goes, yeah, but it wasn't loaded. Like that, and like he was serious, like we're laughing because it's like you're fucking insane,
right?
But, like he was like, yeah, but it wasn't loaded.
Yeah, duh.
Like no big deal.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, he was definitely like insane, but yeah, just
Yeah, man. How do you,
read his book. I'm telling you, it's called Pure Dynamite. It's amazing. I actually loaned it to a non-wrestling friend to read, and I never got it back because they're idiots. But
stupid non-wrestling.
It's seriously. I think it's one of my favorite wrestling books I've ever read. And I primarily read, nonfiction and biographies, anyways. And it's one of the best ones I've ever read because it's so brutally honest, and he just tells all kinds of crazy stories. Like I said, talking about taking horse steroids in the middle of the night, and he was insane. He was an insane human being, and so it's obviously wrestling's filled with its insane human beings, but he's right up there. Like it's a good read, and like I said, go watch his matches if you want to learn about his legacy and stuff. But if you want to read about the man, it's just as interesting.
That's awesome. So let's move on into what this week of wrestling brought to us. Raw happened again, and okay, so last week I buried the shit out of Raw. A lot of things that I talked about were the continuity levels of it, like how Dana Brooke was automatically a heel out of nowhere when just the day before on the WWE Network she was tagging with Sasha and Bayley. Just a lot of things that just didn't make any sense, like how those three heels came together out of nowhere because of the end of a Survivor Series match. Like it was just really weird, the continuity. And man, did Raw keep up their shitty continuity this week. It was another horrible show. I will not say it was as bad as last week because it was really difficult, but the ratings say it is the lowest watched Raw in history. Not one episode of Raw ever has gotten this low of a rating. It drew in 2.285 million viewers, which is down 3.5% from last week's 2.369 million viewers. And just like it's really funny. So last week, the ratings dropped 19-point-something%, which was number 7 all time from first hour to last hour. This one didn't drop that much because the first hour was the second lowest of it. It was 2.262 million viewers the first hour, 2.399 million the viewers the second hour, and 2.196 million viewers the third hour. Again, lowest in history. We don't really have to talk much about the ratings because we're going to talk a lot about Raw in itself. So this Raw set out like it was going to start with a match, something that Orlando and us have all, mainly Orlando, just talk about with like the formula for Raw. It's always a promo to kick off and then shoots into matches.
Match.
Yeah. Or not even a match until like they just do something in the next segment or the third segment. This one was supposed to start off with a match. It was supposed to start off as Nia Jax and Tamina versus Ronda Rousey and Natalya. Well, the Riot Squad came out and beat up Natalya again, and Tamina and Nia Jax proceeded to beat up Ronda Rousey. Raw did not start out well. And it continued through. It was Sasha and Bayley were then put back on the fucking in the ring as open forum to where they answered more questions this time. And as girls ran down again, the females that are Alexa Bliss's cohorts, minus Dana Brooke, who's just brand new, Alexa stopped them, said, "No, that's not how this is gonna go. We're gonna have a tag match right now." And Sasha and Bayley beat Mickie James and Alicia Fox, and she buried Dana too. She was like, "Dana, if you want, you can sit out here. It don't matter. You don't matter. So you go ahead and sit out here. Hope you have fun." And it was just standing non-partisan on the side while the heels lost.
Yeah, she didn't interfere or anything, did she?
No, it's weird. It's really weird because they were her friends the week before. 2 weeks before, literally, they're fucking cohorts.
Yeah.
Lucha House Party is in the ring again, and now the Revival come back out. And Dawson starts talking about how they're just sick of these 3-on-2 matches. This Lucha House Party rules, just not fair, so on and so forth. Scott Dawson is going to teach Lucha House Party how to wrestle in a traditional 1-on-1 singles match. JoJo then says, "And this match will be conducted under Lucha House Party rules. All 3 members will be able to compete." Like, not even Wilder could compete. Like, it was literally 3 on Dawson. And
Nice babyface move.
so the fucking commentators are talking about how fun
you.
it is and how great it is that these 3 guys are able to wrestle. Not all of them. Corey Graves as the heel commentator is saying how unfucking fair this is. Oh, the Revival shouldn't have to deal with this over and over and over again. Blah, 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 blah. Renee's like, "Oh my God, yeah, you're right. No, you're wrong. This is amazing. This is fun." Michael Cole's like, blah, 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 Michael Cole. It's fine. Again, just defending the faces.
The face number game.
3-on-1 handicap.
Yeah. Like, it's okay.
And the fact they went over, too, was...
It's a 3-on-1 match.
They better have gone over. As a
Right.
matter of fact, the problem is with it, why didn't they go over sooner? It's 3-on-1. How do you look strong when you have a 3-on-1 match that you can't even fucking win right off the bat? Up next was the Drew McIntyre Appreciation Night.
Get off his dick.
Smitty wants a spot.
Got Roman left.
Hey,
and
you
you
better watch
already
what you
found
say.
out
Marcus
his
is
dick
listening.
Right, yeah. Maybe you're going to call him Drew Marcus Tire. Oh,
Did you come up with that all on your own?
I come up with everything on my own, sir. It's very single.
There's no writers on this show.
Yeah. There were writers. It'd be way worse. And you could tell week to week there'd be no continuity. But, God damn it, Defender of Love keeps your Marcus
Right.
mouth in check.
That's right.
Week to week, it is continuitized.
I got your back.
Yeah. Marcus has your front and other parts.
Yeah.
And
Pretty much everything else.
And that's how Smitty got his AIDS.
But not as bad as yours.
So they show the package for Drew McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler comes out and he goes, I brought you to the main roster. I wasn't in this. We've been running buddies for a while now, running rickshaw around this whole place, and I don't hear any mention about me. And Drew goes, well, you sucked. You thought you were the brains, but I was the brains and the brawn and all of this. Ziggler then gets a quick one in on McIntyre, runs away, goes up the ramp all pissed off, and Baron says, oh, no, that's fucking not happening. You're going to have a match with Drew McIntyre right now. And so he had a match with Drew McIntyre. And Finn Balor comes down to help our face, Dolph Ziggler. Oh, man.
One of the weirdest face turns.
By hitting a drop kick, I believe it was a drop kick on the outside. McIntyre rolled back in the ring. Ziggler hit the zigzag. And 1, 2, 3, Ziggler got the pin over Drew McIntyre. His first official loss on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, we'll go into all this. Next was the Elias and Lashley segment where Elias was in the ring and Lashley comes out with his hype man, Leo Rush. Lashley, look at his ass. Look at his
Can we just
ass.
go 1 week without Lashley putting his ass on
Look
camera?
at his ass. Fucking Smitty's like, I gotta work
Right.
out. Marcus is gonna fucking leave
Right.
me for that ass.
Smitty gets jealous of other black men's bottoms.
On TV so much.
I'm just really uncomfortable with Bobby Lashley bent over on camera every week.
Right. You like to do it in private with him.
Right.
And so it makes sense. Elias comes up and he's, beaten up with Lashley, and then Leo Rush is taken out by Finn Balor again. All of a sudden comes out, helps Elias. So Elias gets the better of Lashley and fucking blasts his guitar all over Leo Rush's back, similar to how Marcus blasts his shit all over Smitty's back.
Oh, no.
Okay, so this is what we're doing tonight. Got it. I'm in.
He was waiting on that one, actually.
Actually, I wasn't. It was till I read over Leo Rush's back. I was like, oh, I could totally make this a gay joke for Smitty too. Earlier, Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable said, we want another match for the tag titles because Drake Maverick peed all over my robe last week and it distracted me. Corbin goes, no, you lost. Simple as that. He goes, but you can have your shot at it if you beat Drake Maverick, Bobby. The only caveat to this is Chad Gable and AOP are not allowed at ringside. It's one-on-one match straight up. And if you didn't think that was a bunch of bullshit, you're fucking stupid. So, Bobby Roode is getting over on Drake Maverick in the ring, and all of a sudden it cuts to the back again. AOP beating the shit out of Chad Gable, to which Baron Corbin breaks up and says, I announced this is now a 3-on-2 match, so AOP go down to the ring, and it's basically a 3-on-1 match. Oh, by the way, commentators aren't happy with this being a 3-on-1
That was the
match.
one thing I was super pissed about.
Oh my God, it's so bad that Baron Corbin's abusing his power, and there's this it's a handicap match. Son of a bitch, this is not fair. How can they just let this happen? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. AOP wins. Next, Bane Ambrose comes out to the ring. Fucking big ol' Bane coat. Gas mask. It's
the new siren and his fucking.
That son of a bitch comes out and he starts talking into the gas mask. And look, if the new gimmick is the fans are gross and you're trying to play that heel role, that's whatever. I'm not gonna say that this is stupid because we have to let a gimmick grow. It's something he switched. We've wanted.
He's a lunatic, but he likes being healthy.
Right. Like, no, but he's no okay. The thing that pissed him off was he was being called a lunatic, and he's not a lunatic.
Of course not.
Right? He's smart. And
You don't say that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So
Oh, shucks.
he comes out, and I don't know how they're trying to play this out, but him talking through the mask
was terrible.
cutting a promo, going in 3 different directions. Look, I'm happy that we finally have heel Ambrose, and that's fine. But so Seth Rollins comes out from behind, is getting over on everything, does the spot where he jumps out and Dean pulls over the one guy. They go out into the crowd and they're fighting, and then when Seth's coming back in after he throws in Dean Ambrose, he hits him with the fucking gas mask and then proceeds to get his ass beat and taking a couple dirty deeds. Heath Slater and Rhino were backstage, and they were talking about how they weren't being used, and Baron Corbin's like, well, we don't have a spot for both of you. I don't have the money. I'm crunching numbers right now. I don't know if you know that. I'm also the accountant here on Monday Night Raw. But I only have the money to pay one of you. So you guys have a match, and whoever wins is the one who stays on Monday Night Raw. So they have a match, and Rhino says he's not going to quit, and he's going to fight. So he takes advantage of Slater, who hits him with a fucking neck breaker out of nowhere and gets the pin. Come to find after Rhino was saying that he's actually done. He was giving his goodbyes to the crowd, and he was saying that his run was over, at least in WWE. I don't think that was a good way to send anyone off, let alone a legend like Rhino.
I was kind of pissed about that because there was also one where saying he's actually done as well.
So Finn Balor then takes on Jinder Mahal because Jinder Mahal says he's got Shanti and he will help Baron Corbin. And Finn Balor beat Jinder Mahal.
Making Heath Slater the only successful member of 3MB that night.
Holy shit, he's right.
The only caveat that I actually enjoyed about this show, you did not mention.
Oh, I'm not even done yet.
Okay. Go ahead.
And then finally, Raw ends with Ronda Rousey finding Ember Moon as her tag team partner and beating Nia Jax and Tamina in it. What is the thing?
only caveat about Raw, the thing that I liked, you did not mention. I liked when Heath had won and he got to the back and was like, yeah, here's your new gear or whatever, and he threw him like the
referee.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought that was interesting. I was like, well, that's cool. They're giving Heath, he always seems to do good stuff with like small, silly kind of roles, and it's actually using him, so I think that was good.
I agree with that.
So you didn't mention that, but I think that was actually
cut off by the 3MB line.
That might be my only thing that I actually enjoyed about the show.
So we're talking about the continuity of Monday Night Raw, the lack thereof, the none thereof for this, and how everything it's 100% week-to-week booking. Sorry, it's week-to-week writing. There's nothing that is standing up from previous weeks to this week. And I kind of gave them a pass last week when I said, look, I get it. Every fucking plan you had basically involved Roman Reigns. And then, leukemia got him over. So he was gone. And now everything has to be rewritten. Well, that's fine. And maybe the week after Survivor Series, things are difficult, right? That was last week's Raw. So that was the week after Survivor Series. Things are difficult. One of the worst Raws you've ever seen.
I mean...
No, I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I'm in the very, very small few that I kind of actually enjoyed Raw.
Not because you're stupid.
Not all of it, because, like you said, there are some glaring holes. But, I mean, the whole setup with whatever they're doing with Baron Corbin, Lashley, and Drew McIntyre, that little faction, or what is it? What's it? Trio? Is that the proper name for it?
Sure, I don't give a shit.
Well,
looking at me like I
no, but like, isn't Forest Stable 5?
We discuss as none of us know.
Okay. Yeah.
We discuss as not one of us knows.
All right, good talk. With that said, it's also setting up this weird alliance between Finn Balor
and Elias,
and now Apollo Crews.
Oh yeah, Apollo Crews.
Oh yeah, he random.
Which, I mean, going forward, if those three are going to be together, I mean, I'm kind of interested to see how that plays out. So there wasn't all bad things at Raw, just the whole women's thing they did with Sasha and Bayley, and they're foreshadowing for these tag championships. Like, it's all just so awful right now.
I like how much time they gave the bitches.
I like to give them time, but I mean, it really didn't pan out too much.
They're putting on Ronda Rousey's star power right now. That's why they put her at the beginning, middle, somewhere at the beginning.
Worst ratings ever.
No, not this one. But this is also off the worst Raw ever the week before. So
you've lost viewers.
I'm not gonna.
He's saying that they're going off of Ronda's star power. Clearly,
over the last 2 weeks, if you watch the show, like they've been trying to use Ronda Rousey's star power to try to pull people in as well.
I don't agree with you on the combination of Balor, Elias, Ziggler, and Crews because of last week. Nobody helped Elias. Got his ass beat. Right, 3-on-1. Got his ass beat.
And nobody helped Balor.
No one helped Balor. 3-on-1. Got his ass beat. Okay?
Apollo Crews is random.
Finn Balor proceeded to come out and help Elias and Ziggler. Okay? But Apollo Crews helped Balor? Like, it's ridiculous. It makes no fucking... Like, look... If you're going to... I get that Elias was helped because he was taking on Lashley, and Lashley beat up Balor. And I get that Ziggler was helped because he was taking on McIntyre, and McIntyre's been going after him. But for no one to help Balor, neither of them to help Balor in his match with Jinder, right? Or even come to his defense backstage when he caught the attack from McIntyre
And Corbin.
is what is fucking it up.
All right, and I would agree with you, except for they haven't explained it yet. They haven't explained why Apollo was out there. If there's some kind of backstory as to why he came out and helped, and that's kind of what they're building on going forward, I mean, then you can judge.
You're
it.
putting too much thought.
Yeah, you
into
put
it.
too much thought in it. Not even WWE writer puts that much thought into this shit.
No. Here's why. He's babyface.
Well,
The end.
Like,
the end.
What babyface do we have on the roster?
They've been
Got-
slowly trying to build him, even though it hasn't really worked yet. And over the last month or two, after burying him for 2 years,
so go out there and help Finn to get over.
yeah. So I think like that's the idea. But there's no backstory. I promise you.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, if going forward, if it's just that, then yes, it is dumb. But if there is a backstory and it builds to something, it's a completely different story.
It'll build to something.
I mean, yeah,
but
they're
there's
gonna
no backstory.
They're gonna try and give it a backstory next week. It doesn't mean there's anything there to build upon. And again, having Cruz come out when Balor hasn't helped Cruz. Cruz hasn't been involved.
Cruz ain't been doing shit on TV for the last few weeks.
I mean, no, he came out and did something. What did he? Did
Well,
he?
for the last month or two, it seemed like they were trying to push him. Right? They've been giving him actual
Was
matches.
he taking on Jinder?
Well, he's had actual matches, and I think he's won quite
Yeah.
a few of them.
He's been having a solid mid-card run without a title shot, basically,
Right.
the past couple weeks.
And maybe they're trying. Clearly, somebody was like, "Hey, let's elevate this kid," but you have to do something with him. You buried him for 2 years, so him just winning a couple matches isn't gonna do anything for
Right.
you. So maybe this is their way of trying to do that. But
Putting him in a
but-
faction with Finn Balor will get him off.
but can we just talk about how done with factions and alliances I am right now? I'm done with them.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Aren't you part of one?
Yeah, but mine makes sense.
Oh.
These I'm talking about WWE's. They make no sense.
Yeah.
They had a good thing going with Ziggler and McIntyre. I thought a decent thing when it arrived. They played it out because they needed to get Roman Reigns over. Remember that we talked about how they killed
The entire roster.
Yeah, they killed like 6-7 dudes. And now they're like, what do we do now? Oh, well, let's put Corbin. Put him with them. And it's a shame for, I think, both McIntyre and Lashley, who I think are both credible main eventers. I think Lashley should have been built up to face Lesnar, even if just for a one-off and lose. I think that's a money match. It's a believable. He's a believable opponent that we don't have in the fucking company.
It's something reason he came back. Part
Right.
of what they sold him on was a match with Lesnar.
Right, and it's like, and you could believe that he could actually go toe-to-toe with Lesnar.
And he also got a similar background.
That's what I mean. He has an actual MMA background, wrestling background. He's the one guy in the company that he won't just get eaten up.
He's a legit. He was in the army, like legit in the military as well. So
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything in terms of the fact that he
Kind of
fought.
training.
The fact that he was like an amateur wrestler while he was in the army and I think he did pretty good.
he won
matters.
like a gold medal somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what that is though. I have to look that up. But either way, he has a real amateur background and stuff, and so like he's an actual credible fighter for Lesnar. And it's like, why bring him back to have him do nothing? Then you put him with Leo Rush, and now he's with Corbin, and it's like, what? I don't understand how you could drop the ball here.
Vince McMahon hates black
Like-
people.
No, he doesn't. Because Bobby Lashley would have been his fucking guy if he would have stayed. If Bobby Lashley,
That was a
That
joke.
is true.
It was a Kanye West joke.
yeah, we get it, but you say that anyway, so that's your real thought.
Yeah. No, my real thought
but-
is that he doesn't know what to do with him.
But Lashley, would have been their fucking guy had he not left. He was being groomed to be their fucking guy. Then he decided he didn't want to be and fucking left.
Yeah.
They said something that was personal
But
issues.
even when he first showed up, I think the comparisons have always been Bobby Lashley is, Black Lesnar, right?
Yeah.
Like, because he is.
Black Lesnar.
They got the same fucking initials, for Christ's sake. BL. Like, how common is, like he used to hop up on the ring and fucking be like, this is fucking Brock Lesnar all over again. Except he had a baby face. He was the baby face version of Brock. And it's like, you accidentally have had this built up for fucking 15 years. How do you not continue this build?
Right.
No.
And it writes itself.
It's just, they're so stupid, man. Like, I don't understand the route they're taking. Like, do they think this is what's going to be what elevates? Lashley's a good heel. I thought he was a good heel in Impact.
Oh, yeah. That's what I realized.
You know, if they actually let him be that Lashley, you know, I'd get Leo Rush away from him because I don't think it works. I don't find that entertaining. It's not entertaining to me.
It's annoying.
Yeah, and not annoying and like, oh, like I want to see this dude get punched. It's like, no, I don't want to watch this. Like, this is silly to be on TV. Like I feel insulted watching this. Like, I don't want someone to watch wrestling for the first time and see this. I would be like embarrassed. But it's not always like this. It's not like this. I swear.
It's way better. It's way better. Yeah, when at first I was okay with Leo Rush because it was the hype man situation, and Bobby wasn't alongside anybody else, so it was, let's bring this guy out who, and to WWE's credit, it was becoming extremely annoying when he was being able to talk, especially over the announcers and everything like that. So they pulled him back on that, and so it was getting better. But then they put him in this faction, so I don't understand why Leo Rush is there anymore, because now it doesn't matter. He doesn't need a hype man.
Yeah, but I would prefer none of this to happen. Like, no
I
Leo
agree.
Rush, no faction. Like, why is this happening?
Again, and that's what has been being said over and over again, is we don't even know why these three are together.
No,
Just because of the last three of the Survivor Series team doesn't make any sense.
No, none of it.
That's the most Survivor Series build-up afterwards we didn't got from the whole show.
Yeah, but who cares? Like, is it?
But they're not talking about Survivor Series.
Yeah, but I see that's the only real follow-up besides the whole trash talk between Rousey and Charlotte.
And look, they lost Roman. They lost Braun. You know, Braun's off of TV because he's rehabbing.
Right. So I mean, obviously there's audibles being called, but even like the stories that they've had prior Survivor Series, the Dean Seth story, I don't give a fuck. Do you care? Like,
I've seen it. The only difference is now one's the other.
Right.
One's
and
a
what-
face,
what
one's
was
a heel
Dean-
in reverse.
What was Dean's reasons? Wasn't his reasoning? I can't remember. I remember thinking his reasoning was real fucking stupid.
Because it was the Shield made him weak.
The Shield made him weak, and
Even
they
though
held
he
him
was the
back.
strongest person when the Shield was together.
But even still, like, no, like he had other reasons that he kept saying about.
I'm not a lunatic. I'm very smart and all that crap.
Something about the things they did while they were in the Shield, and
They lost
he
their
used
way.
Roman's cancer and won, and I was like, all right, at least you're gonna get some heat for that. But
You say the Shield lost their way somewhere down the line. Like we first started off delivering justice, and then we started off doing this. Then we ended up doing this and this.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, like his reasons obviously don't seem clear to us,
Right.
which is a bad sign. And again, I think heel Ambrose rejuvenates him, I guess, a little bit. But at the same time, him in a gas mask is terrible. If they want to do that fucking like entourage type thing, like with
Like
gas
Sami
masks, like
Callihan?
that's fine. But like he should not have one. It's stupid looking. He looks silly. Like
Kind of like Sami Callihan with OVE when he first started.
I understand, but like this is I'm just saying this looks stupid. Like this on my TV, somebody screenshot it and sent it to me because I wasn't even watching, and I was like, why? And I was like, is it any good? And they were like, no. And I watched and I was like, no, this is bad. Like this is not good. Like who's coming up with these fucking shit ideas? It's like shit idea after shit idea.
Like the inoculate, he was getting all those shots last week, and he's like, I can't stand disease and the disease that is involved in the WWE universe. So look, I'll even get him coming out with the gas mask if that's what they're trying to play. But to speak with the gas mask,
But even still, like it's such a departure from his character, like the character that they've tried to build. Like I've never bought into it, the lunatic fringe bullshit.
Right.
But they've tried to build this fucking character, and now he's worried about diseases. Like,
well, again,
so you turn on the Shield, but at the same time, all of a sudden you're worried about being sick. Like this.
But you have
it's
to remember
so
that
obnoxious.
he's trying to get away from the lunatic things. Like even when he first
I
came
get
back,
that.
So it's some sort of departure.
But tell me why, at the same time, his character development two things we know about him. He disliked being in the Shield, and now all of a sudden he hates sickness and disease. He didn't hate it before.
Right.
So all these other years, he had nothing against it. All of a sudden
Tommy
now,
Dreamer.
right, all of a sudden he must have got a case of fucking gangrene or something, and boy comes back and is all terrified of sickness. What? What the fuck are we talking about
So
here?
on the WWE 24 of him, is it 24? The Chronicle. It was Chronicle. What he spoke about a lot is how he took care of his body, and then all of a sudden, his body gave up on him. And he goes, it was one of the worst things. It was something he was so angry about, how no matter what he did for his body, it gave out on him. He was the workhorse. He was able to go, but his body gave out on him, and it was something that he was upset about because of stuff that he couldn't control. So if you want to partially pull that, okay, but you have
aren't
to put.
we now putting in story pieces for him?
But that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna go with that, that's fine. But something about him has to say this on national television rather than in a fucking Chronicle on the WWE Network, where you obviously don't even pay attention to your biggest things, i.e. NXT. You know, Lars Sullivan and stuff coming in, like, you know, it's like they try to get away from their NXT characters from some NXT people when they bring them up, but we're supposed to buy the Chronicle version of Dean Ambrose coming in. Like, again, it just, if any part of the doctor office promo or the ring promo with the gas mask off said anything about my body gave up on me because of you, so I have to save myself from your disgustingness.
But we're trying to find logic,
Right.
and what logic they did not have.
But and that's what I'm saying. But if that would have happened, then all of a sudden all this shit makes sense.
Right, for the same straws as he was with that Balor Cruz faction.
Right. But that's the thing. We're playing this what if game. We're like, well, if this happens, and if that happens, and if they had done. The bottom line is none of this is happening.
No, I agree with you.
So we're back to the point A, and the point A is this is fucking stupid. And this is what I was thinking when I'm watching. I go, okay, he's wearing a gas mask. I said, this can work. I've seen guys do stupid things. But one of you guys is a giant Jericho mark, right? I know all you guys are, but one of you guys is a giant Jericho mark. Okay, so if Jericho had wore a gas mask, I guarantee you he would have gave a reason that would have made fucking perfect sense. I guarantee you.
Even if he just wanted to bag on the city.
Right, even if it was just for that fucking night or if he wanted it to be a long, there would be a fucking reason for it. Because everybody understands if you're going to fucking do something like that, have a fucking reason.
Yeah.
Well, just like Jericho's had a reason for a clipboard, a scarf, a
That's what I'm
light-up
saying.
jacket. I mean, the word "stupid idiot."
That's what I mean. Like, so you can find anything and get it over if you give us a fucking reason. But
Right.
but if you come out there and you're just wearing it because you don't want to get sick all of a sudden,
You know what this reminds me of? Okay, so
what the fuck are we talking about?
remember how Eric Bischoff said that when he first interviewed for WWE an announcer job, they gave him a broom. And they're like, sell the broom. You know? And that's exactly what you're saying. There has to be a selling point to this gimmick. But he's not selling the gimmick. And that's why it doesn't fucking make sense.
No, it does not make sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's his idea or the office's idea, but
even if it's the office
but,
idea.
yeah, like you said, it's the Dusty Rhodes thing. They give you fucking polka dots. You better fucking find a way to get it over.
Yeah. And he's not doing
No,
it. And
no.
if Vince McMahon was so hard up about a fucking broom for his announcers, why is he allowing one of his top stars, one of the guys who works harder than when he's healthy, like you said, Dean Ambrose was the workhorse of the division. He worked more dates than anyone 2 straight years. I think it was 15 and 16. Worked more dates, wrestled more matches than anybody in that company. He was the workhorse. So
Until he
if
got hurt.
he is this big deal for you, such a top guy, why are you sending him out there with less than the work that you told people who were just interviewing for an announcer job? I feel like and this is just coming to me now, especially with Vince selling 22 million more in stocks, right? I feel like he's so kind of involved in this XFL thing that it pulled him away from WWE. But the problem is he's still trying to do WWE and still trying to run it to where if he just
Let Paul do it.
or dude, fucking anybody. Because if you're not fully invested in your own product, in this specific fucking thing, If you're not invested in it yourself, how are you expecting anyone else to be invested?
I've talked about it before. I don't think they care if we're necessarily invested because we still spend money on it and he's still making a profit until profits actually start to go down. And I mean, like, plummet. Like, not just a little bit, like the stock falls a little bit, but like until it starts to fucking plummet, he has nothing to worry about because he makes money in spite of whatever they put out. So the product is so secondary. We talk about the product because that's what we are watching because we're not benefiting in our wallet one way or the other. But he cares about money because it's a business. You know, at the end of the day, we're worried about the entertainment aspect, whether or not it entertained us and whether or not it made sense. But it's a business to him. So until it affects wallets and things like that, until it really starts to plummet, there's going to be no directional change because there's no need business-wise.
Right.
And that's what truly guides the decisions. The Attitude Era got good because it was affecting their business. Their business was about to close.
Wow.
It was get better or fucking die off.
Yeah.
Well, now they're fine. So it doesn't matter what shit they put out.
They're the juggernaut.
Yeah. So it's just it's sad because the product is dog shit and they have talent. You can't deny that they have a talented roster.
Probably one of the most talented rosters they've had ever.
You know, I'm biased. I think there's been better rosters, but it's a better roster than they've had in 10 years.
Yes.
And they have guys that are at least in their character itself is over with the crowd. Like people understand Finn Balor, like they understand the lunatic fringe or whatever that they try to present, and you can critique all of it, but those are more over than the half vanilla generic guys that they had 10 years ago in 2008, 2009. They're mid-carders and stuff like and they're over enough. But it's sad because they have nothing for them. Like there's nothing, or at least nothing logical for them. And they don't know how to, wrestling to me is simple. Booking's the easiest part. I don't understand how they're getting so far away from it. And audibles happen all the time, and maybe that's just the indie wrestling to me. Guys don't show up all the time, or a guy gets injured on the fucking, it happens all the time. So I'm used to fucking going with the flow and being like, okay, well, now we're going to do this, now we're going to do that. Because there's 10 ways to fucking do something. There's not just one way.
Right.
So even if you had all your fucking stones set on Roman, okay, he's gone. Okay, now we're going to set it all on Braun. Oh, he's gone. Well, guess what? You still got fucking Drew. You still got fucking Lashley. You still got Elias who's getting over as fuck. You got Seth Rollins if you want to build around the fucking in-ring guy. You have all these fucking pieces right at your disposal, and you're still presenting shit.
Yeah. So
what is your fucking excuse? You don't have one. It's just garbage. It's just a garbage product, and they don't care. Because they make money anyways. Sorry, I know this is a tyrant, but it makes no fuck or tirade, but it makes no fucking sense, man.
So speaking of shit not making sense, Z, I must lead with you. So this whole Dolph and Drew thing, like Orlando said, has been built up for months. We knew that there was going to be a break between them, and eventually they were going to go their separate ways. But did WWE just pull the trigger on this way too fucking soon and in a dumb way? Because to me, I thought it did, but that's obviously just my opinion. When you saw him come out and start with the "Where Was I At" and begin the "What About Me," I get it 100%, but then the match, especially where Ziggler just goes over, I don't know. What was your take on that?
When they were doing their little faction thing or whatever's going on with those, Corbin, Lashley, and McIntyre, I thought to myself, I'm like, why isn't Dolph there? Like, they've already built him as a heel. He's been, tag team champs with McIntyre. Like, why not do that? And then when Dolph came out, I already knew as he was walking down the ramp, like, how that was going to go. Which led to the match. The match wasn't bad. Ziggler did go over, but it's not like he went over clean. So, I mean, it's not, out of the realm of possibility. But I just don't get why they're blowing that up right now. Like, you could have used that going forward, but instead you pulled the trigger to, prematurely and blew your own head off.
And it's also Drew's first loss since coming to the main roster. This is the first time he's lost anything.
Yeah, the first time he lost, and it was to Ziggler. No disrespect to Ziggler.
Here's the real question: Who among us, or who is watching, that is clamoring for a Ziggler face turn?
Nobody, because already the guy just works better as a heel to start off with.
So even if you wanted them to descend, I hope that he still remains a heel because heel Ziggler is a lot better than babyface Ziggler.
Yep.
So maybe they're short on baby faces and they're thinking
They're
hey,
100% short on baby
But-
faces.
Hell no.
But Ziggler is not their fucking guy.
Did you say they're not short on baby faces?
Well, the fact that because you got Elias, who's probably the biggest babyface on Raw right now, with Braun being gone.
Which just recently happened.
Finn Balor's over babyface.
Uh-huh.
Rollins.
Rollins is an over babyface.
Yeah.
Like,
That's 3. Give me some more.
I'll wait.
Apollo.
Apollo, randomly Apollo is a babyface.
All right, that's 4.
You're struggling to get 4.
Okay,
Who's number 5?
Look at this roster.
No, and that's the problem. You shouldn't have to look at the roster. You should know because you can round off the top of your fucking head on who's all the heels. Because dude, last week I talked about it. There's 4 fucking face women. 4.
Yeah.
4. 5. Now Ember.
No,
So
Ember.
now 5.
Ember's
Because I don't think I counted, but it's Natty, Ronda,
Sasha.
Ember, Sasha, Bailey. Every other woman on that roster, Dana, Tamina, Nia, Alexa, Mickey, Alicia. It was like 9 fucking women that I was rattling off versus the few that are face. It's WWE has stacked these rosters to be top heel, to be heel heavy, which is a problem because you have Jinder, Drew.
Is Asuka the only face on SmackDown?
No, Becky's a total face. Naomi,
Well, but not by choice. She's supposed
Naomi,
to be a
Carmella.
Yeah.
heel. Oh, okay.
You know, it's
Lana.
Yeah, Lana's built as a face. It's so, but you have this heel heavy because you turned everyone, and the only one that turned after, that went heel after Roman's sickness was Dean, right? In a brilliant heel turn. We all talked about how good of a move that was. It was smart. It was great timing. There would have never gotten any more heat than he did right
But he
there.
also dropped the ball
And it's been
afterwards.
shit
And the
after.
only thing you've done was turn Elias face since. But you turned this fucking roster again. Like, come on, man. Fucking
Nia has more about much heel and face. than
Lashley
Big Show.
was turned before that because he went up against Owens, who was going away for fucking surgery, right? So he's heel. Corbin's been heel. Drew's been heel. Dolph was heel. There's so many fucking bad guys. They're not.
I don't want to bring up Titus because, like, I know how much you love
Titus, he's not
Worldwide.
fucking there. You can't even mention Titus isn't even wrestling. The most mention that Titus gets anymore is when they throw his fucking photo up and say, "Check it out." Ebony fucking nominated him with the likes of these sports stars for this award.
Yep.
That's Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil isn't a wrestler anymore. He's a fucking homage.
He's an ambassador. That's all he is.
WWE's roster itself is nowhere near even. And they are pushing the heels so much that it looks that even
Bobby
last
Roode and
week,
Kurt
like I
Angle.
said, when your fucking dominating heels are just coming to faction together just to beat up these baby faces, and no baby faces are helping each other, and then the only one that you finally make help someone this week gets no help from the people that he helped. What the fuck are you doing? There's no build there anymore. It's impossible. You have no fucking foundation. You're cutting yourself off, and you're wondering why your fucking ratings are down. You're wondering how you're going to pull a fucking show together. And eventually, the more ratings go down, the more people aren't going to want to fucking buy ad time because no one's fucking watching your product. So your ad rates are going down. So now you're finally going to start seeing that bottom line drop, like Orlando said.
I hope that is the case. I hope something forces them to change. It's a shame.
And the other problem is that you're fucking giving into money from other people. From Saudi Arabia. Got to get The Rock as the fucking champion for $20 million more. I mean, you don't have to, but it's a possibility. Fox wants fucking Ronda Rousey on SmackDown because of the money that they're paying. The fucking money coming out should not affect your storyline. And if that's your fucking thing that you're doing, you're also killing your own fucking self because there's no goddamn continuity for you to even build a basis on because your basis is based on this person's money.
Well, if these ratings keep dropping, they're going to have to send The Rock to Saudi Arabia.
You know what I would like, and I've always thought that they should do this, is instead of waiting for like the shake-up or whatever, they should have trades. Because they don't do any
They used to do
trades
that.
anymore. Yeah, I think like wouldn't that be nice? All of a sudden, there's a fucking trade to rejuvenate something when you got a guy injured or something. Now, hey, you got a new fucking babyface here, a new fucking guy over here. Ta-da!
Yep.
We just fucking fixed your problem for you. It's something simple that wouldn't even take fucking any giant leap of fucking booking. You know what I mean?
Right.
But anyway, I just don't get it, man. Raw's garbage, and I guess we'll talk about the women. Which can we talk about how bad the Sasha Bailey segment is?
They've done it 2 weeks straight.
It was bad the first week, so why did they do it again?
They got more questions in this time.
Yeah, I
It
understand.
was so much better.
Why I don't understand what that is doing on an episode of Raw.
Well,
That's something you see at a convention.
you want to get to people. You get to know your people. Smitty, just turn that one.
Again, at the end of the day, does the segment help anybody?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so
The
it's
segment
nothing
was
but
basically just to foreshadow the women's tag titles.
right. But what are you doing?
Yeah, is everyone getting that?
Yeah, I'm getting some weird in and out.
With the headphones.
Yeah.
Smitty, move those headphones back over to where they were. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
I don't
no,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, mine's all messed up now.
Yeah, mine's
You
really
Going, like,
gave
left to right.
the microphone AIDS.
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, it's better now?
Yeah. Oh, nope.
Oh, no. Okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, we're having some technical issues here.
I wonder if everyone else is hearing this too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sweet Jesus, I'm moving things back.
No,
to where
that's
they were.
it wasn't. It's not that. There's
It must
some-
be a cord or something.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I just wanted to stop this damn microphone next to me from falling.
Yeah. So yeah, the women's segment, the open forum.
Part 2.
Smitty, what did you think of it?
It was shit last week. It was shit this week. And the payoff was the same.
And it led to Alexa Bliss being
Tweenerish.
something. I don't know.
You know, let her being like kind of tweenerish to almost.
How?
Because she didn't. She stopped the people that
She stopped
her
the attack.
running mates from going in, and then stood by on the side as the.
Kind of like enforcer somewhat.
I don't know. It was weird.
But she's in a administrative role now, so I mean, technically, just show of good faith. You know, you tell them to stop, but then they're going to have a tag team match against the two. I mean, I don't see it as her being kind of a tweener. I see it as her like stepping into an administrative role.
Well, I think it's kind of tweenerish because like everything that's happened between her, Sasha, and Bailey, and to go back to the whole continuity thing, why would you stop? Like, even if you go stop the attack, at least make it a 3-on-2. Like that seemed to be like somewhat what of the theme last on Monday.
But then you have two exact heels in Baron Corbin and Alexa Bliss. Did the exact Corbin did the exact same thing to Rude and fucking Gable.
Nothing Alexa said though, during the whole the lead up for it when she brought him out. Nothing that she was said was she was just like, look, I'm trying to get, make things a little bit more even or something. Because look, she's still not cleared to wrestle. And it's very possible that she takes over the GM position after Survivor Series.
Survivor Series is over, man.
I mean, after fucking TLC. We don't know what is being led here, but it just doesn't make sense. That's the thing. It's week to week booking. It's not so much tweener. It's just why all of a sudden are you giving a shit about these people
that you've been
attacking from behind when you never cared before? It's.
I don't know. What about the Raw Women's Main Event?
Wow, that was horrible.
It was interesting.
What was it again?
Ember Moon and Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax and Tamina.
It was a joke.
How fucking off was that match? How bad?
Well, let's talk about it.
I'd rather not.
Let's break it down.
Go ahead, Orlando.
No, I want to hear your thoughts.
My thoughts?
Yes. Yeah.
It seemed very sloppy. There was a very...
I've said this for I don't know how many years now. Somebody explain to me why Tamina has a job. Besides using her family. Give me a reasonable...
I was going to say her family.
Give me
It's
a...
part of the Noe family.
With Nia on the roster, it takes the void of what Tamina does away. Nia does it better. Tamina is sloppy. She's not charismatic. She has no look. please give me a reason why you keep her around.
I got nothing.
It's nothing against her. She might be a great girl. Maybe they keep her because she's backstage friends with everybody, and she's a lovely person. It just seems like when you have this constant influx of talent at NXT, and you do these women's tournaments, the Mae Young Classic, and all this, that you could find someone to fill that spot a little better. She's never been cared about by the fans, and she's never gotten over.
She's just there.
Yeah, she's always just been there, and it made sense a little bit when there was no Nia, because at least you'd be like, well, she's like the enforcer type, but now you have the enforcer type, and you put her with her, which is even worse. So,
well, Nia doesn't need an enforcer.
Apparently she does, a smaller one than her. It's like me having a fucking bodyguard to drink Maverick.
You could probably get that over.
Yeah, I mean, if you were doing it like in an ironic way. But of course, it's not.
No,
it's
this
just
is dead
presented
serious.
as is.
Like Spike Dudley being like the big boss. All these super heavyweights.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So I don't get it. The match was sloppy, but I expected that to begin with. It was a match. It's not the worst match I've ever seen. I don't think it should have been the main event, but what else do they have that could have main evented that show?
But that goes back to I think they were
Baron Corbin. They had Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Hello. He was on the show for an hour last week.
At the very end.
No, they have Baron Corbin. He could have been the main event.
I do like that
Drew McIntyre Appreciation Night.
I do like that they presented Finn as not an idiot this week. That was a relief. Was it last week or the week before where he said, I know you're going to interfere or something, right?
Yeah.
And then they interfere and he's like shocked. What? It was like, dude, you cut a promo an hour ago saying you knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And you made no preparation.
Right, like, yet you're still in shock when it happens.
What?
Like, it's like at the very least you should not have been shocked. You should have been like prepared, and then it backfired on you. But it was like, no, you told us that you knew about it, and then you still sold like a complete surprise. So at least at this point, they didn't make him look dumb.
They made everybody else look dumb.
No, it was inconsistent and stuff, but But I don't know if everybody looked dumb. But it just looked. A couple weeks ago, he looked like the biggest idiot I've ever seen. The way they booked it, and at least now it was like, okay, he's not an idiot.
Yeah.
It's just me. It was just funny. Like Jinder Mahal just had one of the. I had a 6-month run as a WWE champion. As soon as he goes to Raw, he's back to his jobber ways, pretty much.
I was just thinking about that last night watching Raw. Like, wow, he was
like literally less than a year ago. He was WWE champion for 6 whole months, and then now, as soon as he gets shipped off to Raw,
and if he's not a dominant,
well, I don't know if you saw Survivor Series. Raw is the more dominant brand, so I mean, it's a lot harder. He's a big fish in a little pond over there on the blue brand.
Yeah, now he's just a fish.
Right now, he's just a regular old fish.
In a regular old ocean. Like, son of a bitch, everyone's bigger here.
But yeah, that was Raw, huh?
Raw was great. Raw was...
It happened.
Better than soggy
it can't
shit
not happen.
sandwich.
It already happened.
Raw was better than last week's Raw.
They just took the mold off the soggy shit sandwich and served it back to you.
You said that like 3 times before the show. It was never clever. But like hearing it the 4th time, it just reminded me of how unclever it was. Stop saying that.
It's still a shit sandwich.
He said it fucking 4 times earlier, Z. Like I'm not kidding. Like this is like the 4th time I heard that exact line described about Raw.
That means he heard it earlier from somebody else and really liked it, so he's trying to use it, and he's probably saying it wrong. If I had to guess.
No.
Who said it?
No.
No?
The original soggy shit sandwich was a laughing movie, but like that does not even describe what Raw was. So
you just proved Z's point.
Right. Someone else said it, and you're saying it wrong.
No, if you want the actual line of lines, like you're still a shit sandwich, just not a soggy one anymore. That was the original line, but I just took a shit
so you try to make it different. So make it your own. And it was bad. All right, make it sense.
Yeah, you didn't prove Z's point.
Yeah, totally not. SmackDown also happened.
I love you, Smitty.
God damn, in comparison to Raw, SmackDown was spec-fucking-tacular. Probably the best show of the year, if you compare it to Raw.
Isn't that the Ole Anderson logic?
Yeah.
Hey, you're no longer you're one of the best guys here. Only because all the real best people left.
Right? You're amazing.
So by default, you haven't done anything.
Boom. It kicked off with three women in the ring for a contract signing, which is the first contract signing that has never broken out in a direct brawl to where the table was smashed in WWE history. Asuka comes out, Charlotte comes out, the man comes out. And Becky just shits talking both, and then Charlotte goes, well, Asuka, your mystique is gone because I beat you at WrestleMania. And Asuka's like, you lost to Becky. And she's like, well, yeah, I beat you at WrestleMania. And then Asuka looks at Becky. She goes, but you never beat me. And it was like, oh, wow, that's a twist
Rock,
to
paper,
this.
scissors.
That's a twist to this, isn't it? God damn it. So we're going to see how Becky loses this match now in TLC. So, yeah, basically, Becky's like, fuck you, I'm leaving. Walks away. I don't know who did it. I don't know how they did it. But somehow that fucking belt disappeared from the fucking hanging position and went to the back. Because later, when Becky came out during... So, yeah, Charlotte and Asuka are arguing in the ring, and Mandy and Sonya come out and they're like, the only reason you won, Asuka, Sonya's saying, is because I made a mistake. Well, yeah, that's how that works. You make a mistake, you lose. I get it. You're right. No, you didn't have the match won because you made a mistake. So they said, Paige goes, well, you could take on Asuka and Charlotte at the same right now in a tag match. And of course, the commentators are like, how are they going to survive together? How they hate each other. Oh my God. No one can ever be friends when they're upset at each other. Oh. And of course, broke down as Charlotte accidentally kicked Asuka. Asuka kicked Charlotte in the face.
Hey, did they not just do this with Brian and AJ? Like
I don't know what you're talking about. This hasn't happened yet.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah, you're right.
Because
Never
Brian
mind.
and AJ won matches.
No, I thought they lost.
They
against the
lost
Usos.
all those matches against the Usos. But
Same exact way, right?
not because the first time was not because someone hit someone else. It was because someone else was hit by someone. Duh.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, you idiot.
Yeah.
You know, it was never intentional with them, but Asuka's was
I'm
intentional.
a real retard.
You are. What a fucking retard. Idiot. So, yeah. And during the match, Becky comes out and she's got her fucking title. I don't know where it came from. It was a beautiful thing. And he's like, yeah, just unsnap that. Whoever that is won the TLC match. They are technically now the SmackDown Women's Champion. But I will say this about that segment is it takes away the thought process that I was having going, oh, I wonder how they're going to have the title in this TLC match. Because other TLC matches have been pin or submission lately. Okay, good. You got to climb the ladder to actually get the title to win this match. Which, again, no one really loses if Asuka climbs that because Ronda comes out to cause a distraction with Becky and Charlotte. Very possible. Asuka's taking this title after TLC. Then there somehow became a triple threat match at TLC for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. The Bar defending against New Day and the Usos. So a member from each team took on each other this week. Jey Uso, Xavier Woods, and Cesaro in a triple threat match, which was a really good match. And it even brought Cesaro with the swing back while he had Xavier Woods on his back, and he spun Jey Uso. Jey Uso ended up getting the win over this. Daniel Bryan is out on Miz TV, and he starts cutting a really good heel promo, and then goes vegan. And
Yeah.
and like it was like look, he was like fickle. What? Fickle. What? Fickle. What? See, that's how that's how stupid you are. Is
It
you're
was
reciting
great.
you're
And then it
reciting a
took a
term from
nosedive.
20 years ago. You know why I hate these people? Because they drink water out of plastic bottles.
Yeah.
Oh, he went
even
hipster.
even the Miz made the face like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that.
He just went super
and
hipster.
then out of nowhere, he's heel Captain Planet.
Right, but it's all stuff that when you're listening to, you're not going, man, that is stupid. I'm gonna boo that. It's-
It wasn't
like,
just
what?
that. Like at one point, wasn't he mentioning like climate change?
yeah, like this is
Like
all
who
shit.
the fuck is against climate change?
Yeah, we're all gonna boo it. Boo, yeah, climate change, boo.
It's fake.
Yeah, boo.
Global warming's a myth.
This shit's not real. Look at my sign.
Have you not seen Fahrenheit 9? What is it?
Fahrenheit 9/11.
Yeah.
Or
With the Al Gore, with the Al Gore
Man Bear
documentary.
Pig. Yeah, Man Bear Pig's real too.
Yeah, of course.
Inconvenient Truth, I believe. That was the name of it.
So then AJ comes out and Brian throws Miz at him, and then Miz hits the skull crushing finale and stuff. So then it sets up a match for later in the night, Miz versus AJ Styles in the main event. Well, for some reason we need to see Jeff Hardy fight Randy Orton again, so they did that. The difference was while Jeff Hardy has Randy on the Spanish on the announce table, the English announce table, and he's gonna hit a elbow drop or a swantons from the inside, turnbuckle of the ring, Samoa Joe comes on the screen. And man, I love Samoa Joe. And he's in a bar. And he's offering people alcohol. Because Jeff knows all about alcohol. And then he really cuts the Captain Planet promo. Where he's like, oh, 1 or 2 of these is good for a night out with your friends. But don't have 14 because it could be a bad night for you. Basically calling out Jeff Hardy's even most recent stuff with
The
alcohol.
DUI.
It
Yeah.
reminded me a lot of the Jericho CM Punk thing.
Yeah.
And the CM Punk
Hardy thing.
Jeff Hardy thing, yeah.
That too.
So then he cuts, the PSA at the end of it. And, of course, Randy hits the RKO and he beats Jeff Hardy. Then AJ Styles versus The Miz. Well, Daniel Bryan comes out and goes on commentary and cuts phenomenal shit, again, on commentary. Like, more spectacular lines that even while sometimes he did say, Byron, I hate you because you drink from that fucking plastic water bottle, but it wasn't what he was saying in the ring. It was just heel Daniel Bryan. And it's very possible that Daniel Bryan might be the best heel in WWE right now. I feel like his promo, minus the
Captain
climate
Planet.
change shit that went awkward that someone threw in there for some reason. The things that he was saying were beautifully said, and everything gets heat and everything was.
And the way he played into the crowd on those what chants right before he ripped their hearts out,
Right.
it was great. But it's that it was that, and then into the other thing, and it had me lost. Like, I couldn't. I even texted our little group chat, and I was like, he's doing some kind of Mankind, Damien Sandow, Captain Planet hippie shit.
So super eco warrior.
But like literally in that order, like it starts out as a great promo, and even on commentary, like you're saying, he would make these great lines, and it's like, ooh, I could really see why people would hate him. And then in the same breath, though, he turns around and he says something about the environment or climate change or whatever the stick was, and I'm having a hard time buying into it. Like, I want to because it has potential, but I really don't understand where he's going with that part of the
In
character.
other words, they drop the eco warrior bullshit and just do everything else.
It's not that it couldn't work. I mean, obviously the straight edge society CM Punk proved that it can work. It's just he doesn't need it. Like he's already him just being heel on the crowd is enough. Him doing that seems like less than what he was already doing. You know what I mean? It seemed like a step down from the promo he was already cutting.
Yeah.
So there's just no need. If you want to throw in like little quips, like during when he's doing commentary, like that's fine. But like don't make that like your fucking thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you don't need that. You're above that. So you don't need that. Is my thing. Like he just doesn't need it.
Right. Agreed. But beyond that, it was very well written, very well put together. And I don't know if you guys noticed or not, SmackDown had continuity. Things that they have been building for time, even if it is the same 3 fucking tag teams going for the title again.
What other tag team do they have on SmackDown?
Man,
Sanity.
Sanity's sitting there doing fucking
Shaq
nothing.
and
I don't even
Shit.
realize it because they're not on TV, and that's kind of my point here. But what other outside of Sanity?
They had the Gallows and Anderson.
Gallows and Anderson.
Where are they?
Exactly.
They haven't been on TV. Like, I feel like there's no tag
They
division.
were on Survivor Series. They were on the pre-show. They were on the team that won.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I do love the fact that Xavier Woods is going all over Twitter like, it was not a clean sweep. SmackDown tag teams won.
Man, you're talking about stuff from 3 weeks ago, dude.
We weren't all. I wasn't here for 2 weeks.
We know. Best show ever.
You're way prettier when you're quiet.
No.
So it stuck with things. AJ coming out there having to fight Miz because it was something that was built up. Rusev's backstage promo continuing why he wants to fight Nakamura. Why the U.S. title was much more prestigious when he was the one holding it.
Which is weird because the last time he was the U.S. champ, it was the complete opposite. You know, fuck America, this, that. Now he's like, it takes honor and integrity.
Yeah, I thought his promo was cheesy as fudge.
Yeah.
But it made sense.
Well, not as fudge, because fudge is cheesy.
Yeah, well, unless you got cheese fudge. That's gross.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
I don't believe you.
That is the
Like
whitest thing I think I've ever heard
a
you say.
fudge cheesecake, man.
Yeah,
Oh, fudge
See?
cheesecake I like, not cheese flavored fudge.
He turned your negative into a positive.
Yeah, because it's fudge flavored cheesecake, not cheese flavored fudge. There's completely different things.
Listen, man.
This is the whitest thing I've heard on the show in a long time.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
it's not at all.
yeah, you've heard whiter things.
I
You've said whiter
I
things.
said on the show in a long time.
You haven't been on this show.
You're more than you, bitch.
Facts.
Yeah, and me. So I can.
But you didn't jump in that conversation, so you didn't have. There was no rebuttal.
Yeah, Miz and AJ, right?
Miz and AJ, and then into that, and again, like I was even stating, the Rusev Shinsuke thing. The only thing I was kind of wondering was where Ray went.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, SmackDown could have used Ray, especially because I thought the Ray Randy stuff was pretty interesting, and
Yeah.
I don't know why he wasn't involved.
And it's like why didn't he come out? I get that it was building Joe and Jeff, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. But post match,
Right.
Randy stands up. All of a sudden, off of one of the turnbuckles, Ray hits him.
Boom.
With a
Yeah.
sitting senton. He could have hit anything, done something to where it just, hey, I'm still here, by the way, and then walk off.
Right, yeah.
And I don't think that would have taken away from Joe and Jeff.
I don't think so either.
It would have added to Randy Ray too.
I was more interested in the Randy Ray thing than almost any other story. I thought Randy's been a great fucking heel, and I really thought him and Ray and even his stuff with Jeff prior to that has been really good.
The stuff he did with
so
Tommy,
I've
too.
actually been like invested in Randy Orton, and I was like, well, that just seemed like a weird throwaway to just for him and
Just a weird place to put him.
Yeah, just for Joe, because you can seem like you could have put fucking Eric Young in that same match and it would have been fine.
Right, yeah, and you would
Yeah, it
have
would've
gotten
been the
Eric
exact-
EY over.
Right, and it would have been the exact same thing. And I don't know. It was a little weird that there was no
To
Ray.
have
I
Randy
thought
there-
the same thing. I was like, it seemed strange that there was no Ray.
And I feel like that's
But maybe he was busy or something, or maybe I don't know. Maybe there's some type of scheduling change.
Yeah.
I know Ray's also an ambassador as well as an in-ring performer in his contract right now. So
Yeah, but he could have had
any.
any scheduling conflict or anything.
yeah.
But anyways, but still, I just thought it was weird to have Randy and not to mention Ray. Or I would have just preferred somebody else in that role, and then I would have used Randy just to cut like a promo if Ray wasn't going to be there at all.
And then even in the commentary, they didn't mention Rey Mysterio at all, and
so I mean,
how he was.
It's really strange.
Yeah.
The only mention of Ray was they showed a clip from Randy from a couple weeks ago
When he took the mask.
Yeah.
mask in hand, and that was it.
And he ripped that bitch off.
Yeah, but
But then again, I mean, he did smash in Ray's throat with a chair, so
Yeah, so I mean, why not just have him in the back, cut a fucking promo about Ray, and then use Eric Young in that fucking role so you can get Sanity some TV time? It doesn't. Yeah, that's just me thinking
Yeah.
like.
How to
you
get
know,
everybody some how to get a little
Right.
bit, so get a
yeah, because
more
Randy
bang for
doesn't
your
really
buck.
need TV time, so give it to somebody who does.
or again, even like Orlando
So
said.
that way, the next time one of your superstars gets injured, you have a go-to.
You have a backup set up.
And again, this is nitpicking a show of SmackDown that wasn't.
No, it
horrible.
wasn't bad.
Yeah, I mean, even if it didn't have the last 2 weeks of Raw to compare to, because last week's SmackDown was barely better than this week's Raw, but this week's SmackDown was a decent show. Good matches, good continuous build over everything that they're doing. Whoever's fucking writing SmackDown has something together. It's like,
Isn't Road Dogg still writing SmackDown? Or
I don't know. He might be there, the overall arc. It's possible, it's very possible. And it's just, I don't know, man. I'm.
If it is Road Dogg, good work to you, Brian James. I commend you.
He thanks you. He's going to tweet about it with his daily Bible verse tomorrow.
I'm laughing all it says is shut up, Smitty.
Oh, you didn't know? Psalms 2:11.
Smitty 316 says, "Shut the fuck up." But thanks. Tell that motherfucker I appreciate it.
Smitty 316 says he will suck your dick.
No.
316 times.
No.
3 times in 16 minutes.
That was a good joke.
Only on March 16th.
At 3:16 p.m. or a.m., whenever you can get there.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
No, we're not like that, but go for Marcus. He is.
So he gets so angry when he's here.
Right?
I'm not angry.
Look, man, that's about it for us this week. You know, yes, Raw sucked. Yes, SmackDown was better than Raw. Decent show. Not the best SmackDown in the world, but definitely not a Raw. You know, it's good to have you guys back. Like, it's nice to talk to you.
1 week there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, like, we really wasn't this all crazy bullshit.
Well, I mean, Raw was a shit fest. SmackDown was okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like SmackDown was so good, but just in comparison, you're like, thank God it was a decent show.
Yeah.
You know.
And look, you know, here's the thing. Raw definitely wasn't as bad as the week before. You know?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, but it wasn't anywhere near better than the week before to where you could sit there and go, oh, thank God, this is better, you know? And that's the problem. Yes, you got less time, less than an hour of Baron Corbin on your TV this week than you, because last week was an hour of him. But it's, they need to stop this week-to-week bullshit. And we've already said that. We run it the fucking...
Yeah,
we
we
can run
ran
it down
through
and
it
everything
now.
like this. Mr. Christopher, what's your upcoming wrestling dates?
Well,
brother?
I got a few dates coming up, but this weekend it gets a little tricky because
Is it tricky?
it's very tricky.
Tricky.
Because I think I am booked twice, 2 different places, and I don't know. So I messaged both promoters, you know, just trying to figure out, because I thought okay, I had messaged this one promoter, sent me a bunch of dates, and I confirmed, but he never responded, so it was like nothing was like verified. And then the other show, I always work, and yet they haven't advertised me or put anything out about me, so I was like, well, I have a for sure. I don't know which one's for sure or not for sure. Am I booked at both? Am I booked at one, or am I not booked at any? And turns out I took one of the bookings, but and I one of the promoters finally got back to me on my way in, actually. So I know I'm booked at one of them, but I'm still dealing with the other half and not knowing whether or not I'm booked here. So if I'm booked at both, that's cool. They're within drivable distance. They're like 2 hours apart. I can make it happen. Especially because the time one of them starts at 6 and the other starts at 8, I think. So like I could totally make it happen. It's just figuring out whether or not I'm on that other one still. So as of right now, it could change. Could, you know.
Cars
again,
do the change.
Today I went from 2 bookings to 1 booking, maybe 0 bookings. But I'm in live pro wrestling in Fremont, Ohio on Saturday.
LP Dub.
Yeah, and then I haven't been back there in like 2 years, and so they've been trying to get me back, and so I'm back there. I know the following week I have Super Kicked and Northern Lights out in Illinois. I know I got some other shit coming up, some cool stuff coming up, but that's as far as I'm gonna remember off the top of my head. You know, I was doing all my dates earlier today, and it's the most, I fucking hate it. All these fucking promoters book you on the same day. They all send you like these listed dates, and they're all running the same days, and then I have to like pick and choose shows, and you know, like tell them, hey, I can't make this, and I can make this one, and I have to like keep it all organized. I'm not organized. It's a fucking pain in the ass, man. Stop booking me.
And you're sick. So
Yeah, I'm very sick. I've been wrestling sick. I feel like I've been sick now for like 2 months, really. But like last week I was real sick, and I still wrestled.
Take your vitamins, dude.
Thanks, Hogan. Fucking Mr. America over
All
here.
right. Hey, he's allowed to say the word.
So yeah, man, I don't know. I've been sick for a while. You can tell in my voice and stuff. It's a little different. Last week I was gonna come in just because you had nobody, but I guarantee you I would have been like losing part of my lung during the show.
That's fine.
And it was it's fine. You don't need all of it.
I mean, it was fine.
You're
that
being
you were
selfish. You
there.
have two of them, you son of a bitch.
It's fine that you stayed home.
But yeah, so
I made it work.
yeah, we heard it was Z. We heard. I read Z say that it was good. Say that the show went well. I refuse to believe
Get
it.
off his
I like
dick.
to think that you need us, but apparently not. Apparently you're fucking.
Look,
You're
I'm
fucking
good.
Joey Styles over here calling
Look,
it yourself.
I'm pretty fucking good one time. Right?
It wasn't really
That's
anything
what she
to talk
said.
about last week, and he made do, so it was a good show.
I pulled in some shit. Talked about how CM Punk might be going to All Elite Wrestling if it's even real.
This is my favorite part of the show.
I will.
It's
I
like
will
first
say
10
this.
minutes.
I will say this. That did pop up at the Jaguar game this week. Cody and Brandy were in the owner's suite.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so leading to more speculation.
I was gonna make a joke that I was listening to a podcast, and I think I heard that the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and Cody Rhodes were in cahoots. Blah blah blah. Because that was like the first 10 minutes of what you did last week.
And then then I've been, oh yeah, because he was in the owner's block, and you're like, wait, what? Oh, son of a bitch.
Yep.
But that didn't happen.
No.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna start talking about things that I was going to say, but then never did.
Make a whole show out of
right.
Next week's going to be a big show for us. We're going to make our Pro Wrestling Scorecards TLC picks to see if anyone can take the championship off of Joe, who is the current Ring Crew champion. Pro Wrestling Scorecards wants a rematch with us.
Let's do it for
TLC
Rumble.
or Rumble.
I'm going to probably Rumble. Can't
See
do
what it is? They got their hopes up when I vacated, and they didn't realize, we just stacked the roster at that point.
It was
Me and you were the only ones to lose.
yeah, so the only people that won for Pro Wrestling Scorecards were Daniel and Des, the married couple, the adorable, the Pro Wrestling Scorecards it couple. They beat Z and I. Man, I had a fucking shit score.
I shit NXT, but I actually did really good on Survivor Series, which is usually opposite ways.
Which again, guys,
I was really hoping you were going to have Mario mouth.
Shut up, loser.
anyone who's interested, like it literally makes
Smash
everything
Brothers.
better. Go to at PW Scorecards on the Switch. It just came out. It's coming out this week.
I know.
It comes out on Friday, right?
So go to Pro Wrestling PW Scorecards on Twitter. You can follow them. They have their TLC will come out Wednesday around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, something like that. And you can fill out your scorecard, and it will make any fucking WWE pay-per-view better, just in the competition aspect of it.
Too bad they don't have one of those for Raw.
Don't sell it like that, because some pay-per-views are just, you can't make them better.
Backlash.
I would like to disagree with that because some of those pay-per-views sucked ass, and because we were shit-talking each other, it got better.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I'm not saying it makes the pay-per-view better. I'm saying it makes your experience with the pay-per-view better. It's not going to fix any wrestling on that show, but it sure as shit will fix your attitude about some things, and that's all
Fuck
that
it,
matters.
Turn it into a drinking game. Be a good time.
Oh, shot for every extra point you get.
Ooh, let's play.
No, I don't want to die. Make sure you follow us on
Why?
all...
You're not going to get any extra points?
I know you do. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media. Obviously, the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at BDRcast. But as anyone who is paying attention now, anyone who was paying attention the last couple weeks, we are now broadcasting every one of our shows live over Periscope. Smitty's saying hi.
Wish
to
you would have told me before I wore this shirt.
Just promote myself over here.
Yeah, we'll really have like
Accidentally
8
on
of these. So, I mean, like, it's hard to not wear one.
I'm surprised you have one with sleeves.
Yeah, I know.
I was wondering. If
I
you
know,
were
I'm
wearing
like
a
Larry the
sleeves
Cable
on.
Guy.
Yeah.
Peter done.
With my own shirt on, though.
But hey, man, you're going to put yourself over. Put yourself over.
No one else is.
Accidentally on purpose.
Right. So yeah, following us, you can follow our Periscope goes up live every Wednesday, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then it goes up on our YouTube and Facebook the next day. Then, of course, the podcast hits iTunes, wherever you listen to your podcast, on Friday. So if you're subscribed to our podcast, you can listen live anytime at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday. If you're listening live or you missed anything, check out the podcast. Go to our YouTube. Just type in BDRcast for YouTube. You can find our channel. Subscribe. Make sure you like those videos. Make sure you show some love to us, the Ring Crew. That is it for us, though, this week. We thank you so much for watching. We are your Ring Crew.
The owner of Mario, Smitty.
Shouldn't you be against owning people?
I want to know how it feels, bitch.
Orlando.
Z.
And me, the almighty one himself. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. We are out.